Here we go again for another elimination match. This time it's a Northern American battle between the LEC second and the first seed. It's the Golden Guardians going against Cloud9. It's a spring split finals revival and a chance for the Guardians to take some revenge and for Cloud9 to prove that they're the best team from their continent. And as always, we will start with no retard and hop straight into Game 1.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Be ready for another Rift side massacre. It's the Guardians starting from the blue side with Licorice on the Fiora, River on the Maokai, Gory playing the Jace, and on the bot lane it's Styx and Hui on Jinx and Nautilus. And against them there rise some heavy clouds on the red side horizon. And outlines appear to be a Fudge on the Cassante, Blabber on the Sejuani, MNS on the Silas, and on their bot lanes it's Berserker on the Aphelios, and Swen on the Lulu. But we're up almost 4 minutes into the game where we see an outraging Mage Seeker. They're going for Hui first, and then for Styx as well, collecting the double kill. Until its first blood drawn there by Cloud9. The first Dragonlance in their pockets as well, but the first Herald goes to the Golden Guardians. Battle between the two mid laners, and Blabber is patiently waiting in the brushes, but he's waiting too long because the lightning rush into the hammer Q of Gory will take down MNS. And so Blabber can only pick up the pieces by stunning Gory with his W and taking the trade 1-for-1. And it's only seconds later as we see Blabber there getting rooted by the Nature's Grasp and then knocked back into the lanes of the Guardians by the Bramble Smash of River. And Sejuani is doomed. And now it's Queen Shelly the first, battering her majestic head into the outer turret in the top lane. As we now see Gory sidestepping the glacial prison of Blabber, but he cannot escape his W and the Everfrost of MNS. And now it's a Cloud Ray going to the LCS first seed. And we skip 3 minutes to see Styx taking the outer turret in the top lane, but it will be traded back by Cloud9 for the tier 1 in the mid lane. Now we see River getting chased out of the same place as the Herald, and it is Styx getting knocked up by MNS, and the stolen Nautilus ulti flashes away, but at the end he will be slain. To enormous advantage for Cloud9, the teleports won't change anything, and it's Hui there, becoming the second victim of Berserker, who takes a double kill, and even Sweet Shelly won't live long enough for a charge into the outer turret, and already on the bottom right screen we see Licorice there getting great screened by MNS and Fudge. And only seconds later it's Berserker and Blabber taking the next dragon of the game, going for Soul Point, and now they're going for Gory as well. Kind of a hopeless situation for the Guardians mid laner there, Blabber collecting his permafrost stacks, and together with Berserker, they will send him back to the base. We go over to the first Baronesh of the game where it's River with the Nature's Grasp, but he gets stunned by the Berserker Gravitum, and 4 members of Cloud9 are just evaporating him. And now they go for Gory, and they send him into the grey screen, but already it's MNS there on the bottom screen going against the bot laners of the Guardians. But they all disengage, and with a 5v3 numbers advantage, Cloud9 are able to take the first Baronesh of the game, take the power play, and use it to tear down the top lane tier 1. And we're already 22 minutes into the game where it's Licorice having a deja vu as he gets slain there by MNS and Fudge again. But at the same time in the top lane, a battle taking place, and we see River there on the top screen, who's fighting in vain against the bot laners of Cloud9, and now Styx has to take the stolen depth charge, and he won't reach the ground again before he's sent to the base, and so is Hui. And now it's only Gory living, but what can a single Jace do against 5 members raging into the base? Game 1 is practically on the books, because Cloud9 they're already at the first Nexus turret, as it is Licorice and Hui. As it is Licorice and Hui respawning only by now. The second Nexus turret about to fall. The Guardians there now a full squad again, but the Nexus is already too low to fend off the attack. And so it will be Cloud9 taking game 1 and the lead in this series. Game number 2, both teams switching sides, and Cloud9 are playing from the blue side with Fudge on the Gragas in the top lane, the Kha'Zix for Blabber in the jungle. MNS he's playing hide and seek with Annie and Tibus, while it is Berserker and Swen trying to take over the bot lane with the Vestian couple, Xayah and Rakan. And for the Guardians, it's Licorice on the Rumble, River on the Viego, Gory's playing the Nautilus, and in their bot lane it's Aphelios and Lulu, played by Styx and Hui. And we're 3.5 minutes into the game as we see the Frailyard Brewmaster being inferior to the Scrapyard Grillmaster, who is then inferior to the turret, and so it's a trade 1-for-1. The Guardians, they will take the first dragon and the first herald of the game. And we go into the bot lane where we see Shelly there, smashing her graciousness into the outer turret, and this will fall after not more than 10 minutes into the game. And the Guardians, they're even able to push Shelly further forward for a second charge into the inner one as well. And the Guardians, they're quite dominant in the early game as they take the next dragon and the next herald as well. We're already 15.5 minutes into the game as we see Shelly there, about to burst down another turret. Second tower is going on the sides of Cloud9, and just as we saw before, the second charge of the Scaly Rift Herald is to be unleashed on the inner turret, but this time Cloud9, they're able to answer back, taking the outer turret in the mid lane. Now it's a flash Tibbers by MNS, followed by the grand entrance of Sven, but the damage is just not enough in a 3v5 now, and Gory with the Nautilus hook on Berserk, and so it's Sven and Berserk on the bot lane of Cloud9, getting evaporated just like a tower. A couple of seconds later, and we're now on the topside river, where we see Fudge and Blabber on the retreat, and the Kha'Zix, he has to take the Spectral more than Nautilus ult, and the screen turns grey. A bit more than 90 minutes into the game, the bot lane tier 1 turret is taken there by MNS and Sven for Cloud9. And in return, the Guardians with a full squad, taking Soul Point. And just seconds later, it's a lonely Goring passing the brushes of no return, where Sven and MNS are lurking in. It's a Hex Tag Rocket Belt Stun Tibbers of MNS, being the undoing for the Guardians mid lane as we see Gragas at the same time taking the outer turret in the top lane, and we're now in the topside jungle, with Gory again now beaten up by the whole squad of Cloud9. And with them still counting the respawn time, Cloud9 are going for the Baronesha, but they cancel it, and it's MNS again with the Rocket Belt Stun Tibbers. And the Nightmare Teddy Bear strikes again. Together with 3 members of Cloud9, they chase away the Guardians, and so the LCS first seed can obtain the mighty Baron buff. But with a minute in it, it's the Guardians mid laner connecting the dredge line to the Ponderous Brewmaster there, and Fudge, he tries to get away, but he's hunted by a full squad, and it's the depth charge that becomes the fatal knock up there, sending him into the grey screen. The return is Xayah now a couple of seconds later, taking the inner turret in the bot lane, and we're now back in the mid lane where the action has taken place. And the Guardians, they're going for MNS, but he summons the Tibbers, stuns Stixxay with his W, who he gets slain, and also River, and the Gragas ult takes out the ADC of the Guardians. It's a 3-for-0 trade, and Cloud9, they can take the inner turret in the mid lane. The next dragon to deny the Guardians to Dragon Soul, and we're back at the topside river, where we see an engaged by Gory and River. That's when he returns with the charm on his own. The Guardians mid lane and jungle, they're taking a huge chunk of damage, and Blabber, he comes in to take down both, and we're going to this situation where we see MNS with the Flash Timmers, and look at the burst damage that takes down Stixxay. Caught by surprise, you might call this, and Cloud9, they are now taking the mid lane inner turret to return to the Baronesha, going for a second power play. Before that, we see the Guardians taking the inner turret in the mid lane, but now they're forced into the jungle, or let's say the mountain forest, where there lives a dangerous child with her Tibbers, who he falls victim. The rest of Cloud9 is going for Stixxay. Both bot laners already dead. River follows. Gory tries to get away, but it's a belly slam by Fudge there. The Gragas going for the 4th kill, and now it's only Licorice surviving there, the last living member for the Guardians. Only Blabber's left to deny Licorice the recall, but he's going in with his rocket belt at the flame spitter to take out the Kha'Zix. Now he recalls, but it's Sven already reaching the vicinity, trying to further delay the recall of the Guardians top lane, as the rest of his team is already at the Nexus turrets there. He returns from the grey screen, but what can a little mage Yordle do but to watch his base getting destroyed? Cloud9, the LCS first seed, about to take game 2 as well, and they will advance towards match point in the series. Here we go, game number 3, the first match point game that needs to be repelled by the Golden Guardians if they want to extend their presence in this tournament to another match. They're starting again from the red side with Licorice playing the Poppy, River playing the Kha'Zix, Gory, he's on the Talia, and Stixxay, he places Eri to be completed by Hui on the Annie. And for Cloud9, we see Fudge again on the Gragas, Blabber on the Vi, MNS playing the Ahri, Berserker the Jinx, And Sven goes with the Tom Kench, and we go straight into the mid lane, where we see MNS getting stunned by the unraveled earth of Gore's Talia. And as River flashes in, his early fate is sealed, and Sven dives in, but he can only get the hell out of there as we see Blabber taking the first dragon of the game. We now see Sven on the retreat, but his abyssal dive gets interrupted there by the anti-stun. And River brings down his prey, just like he brings down the Herald a minute later. Now we up into the top lane where it's Fudge on the retreat, but his dash away gets interrupted by the steadfast presence of Licorice. He gets eaten into the wall and the Gragas get slain. And it's botside River now where Berserker and Sven walk into a lightning crash of Stixay. Look how he bursts down the health bar off the Tom Kench, together with River now. And Berserker flashes over the wall, but the electrified Zeri is going for it. Stixay collects the second kill, and now the bot lane is off Cloud9, accounting a respawn timer, but the scene continues with Blabber queuing in on Gari. Eminence joins the fight and lets the triple Foxfire and the Orb of Deception fly to take out the Guardian's mid laner. And we take a deep breath as we see Shelly there headbutting into the outer turret in the bot lane. And River taking the second dragon of the game just to watch the two mid laners going against each other in an all-out. A minute later, the Everfrost of MNS connects, and as the unraveled earth disappears, it's a spirit rush of MNS to dodge the Talia Q. Another dish of the Ari to let the Q connect, and it's Berserker in the mid lane starting the Super Mega Death Rocket! And it finds its target! And now we see Hui on the end, a little bit too eager there, and he doesn't see the Apex Void Predator coming in to let the Grey rise up on the screen, and we hop into the mid lane, where MNS connects the Everfrost on Gory, the Charm as well, and the Guardian's mid laner gets into its base. But when he just rushed in too far, the Tom Kench falls as well, but also the Guardian support, and so it's a 2-for-1 for Cloud9 in this situation. And the LCS first seed taking the second Herald for the game, and Licorice there on the top side screen. He just wanted to take a tiny look there, but he will pay for this with his life. And Herald is summoned in the top lane there by Cloud9, but we first take a look at the outer turret in the mid lane, which is about to be taken there by the Golden Guardians, and now also Fudge. He's getting isolated there and slain. But being 4 members in the mid lane means they cannot defend their top lane against Shelly and the 2 sisters from Piltover, and so they have to trade the mid lane tier 1 against the tier 2 in the top lane. And we will take a look at this very top lane just some seconds later, where it's Berserker and Blubber now on the retreat, joined by Sven there on the Tom Kench, and he devours his ADC, tries to carry him as far as he can out of the danger zone, but it's just not far enough as Licorice, and then Gory will send him back to the base. And it will be the second Drake for the Guardians as we skip 4 minutes to look at the Baronesha. The Guardians protecting it, and Cloud9 they just cannot get close enough, and so it's power play going to the LCS second seed. And now it's MNS walking to avoid the sword, and the Void Spies off River there. Loses a lot of HP, and Licorice, he finds the heroic charge as well on him. But the Everfrost will save the Ari for now. She limps away, but it sends Blubber in grave danger and sent into the grey screen by Stixay. MNS re-enters the fight going for Licorice now, but he puts him with the heroic charge straight into the walls and takes the kill. And so it's Soul Point after 24 minutes for the Guardians and an outer turret taken in the top lane. And we look at the engage of Blabber on the enemy jungler, cease and desist into the Ari charm, and the Kha'Zix is slain. It's a shutdown as well, and now Gory and Licorice join the scene trying to trade one back. Styx is getting closer, but so are Fudge, and also Sven. It's the Vault Breaker into the stopwatch of Goring, but as he comes back out of it, it's Berserker taking the kill with the Jinx that gets her excited. But on the other side, it's Styx on the scary Zeri taking the double kill there, making it a triple as he takes on Blabber as well, and now he's going for Berserker, who's already low, but he dodges the Spark Surge and throws back a rocket at Styxy to take the kill. That's some insane movement there with the Jinx. And as Fudge is limping away there on the Gragas, we keep our eyes on Berserker. Going for Hui now. Berserker, he has no HP, but it doesn't matter. He takes out the Annie as well. But now it is Licorice on the Poppy, putting an end to this. What an insane scene, and just a minute later we see the inner turret and the bot lane fall on the sides of Cloud9, but they will answer back with the outer turret in the mid lane. And we look at the Baronesha where it's Cloud9 walking down its southbound, it's Licorice coming in with the Keeper's Rodic, sending away 2 members, and River, he gets the steal. And the Guardians, they take the objective and they send back Blabber and Fudge to the fountain as well. Now the Guardians, 29.5 minutes into the game, taking down the inner turret in the mid lane, and now they're trying to crack open the base, looking how far they will come. As River secured the Dragon Soul for his team, the inner turret has fallen. It's a back and forth around the base, but now look at Hui. He gets rooted and stopped there, has to limp away. Lemon Swin with the engage, but they take some serious damage. Both teams are trading blows. You know, it's Fudge coming in with the TP flank. He comes in with his body slam and with his ulti throws Stixy into the misery for a shutdown. And 4 minutes later, now it's Licorice with a heroic charge, and this time around it's Berserker. Sent to the grey screen. Swan follows as well. You know, the Guardians, they let all hell rain down on Blabber and the remaining members of Cloud9. Fudge, he tries to escape, but he will be chased down by Stixie. And also Blabber won't survive for long. Oh, this could be it. The epic flank move by Licorice just won the game for his team, as they're now going for the Nexus turret. And M&S as the last remaining member turning gold and then turning grey. The LCS second seed refuses to say goodbye from the tournament, and they will extend this series to a Game 4. Well, here we go again, Game 4, second match point game for Cloud9, who are again starting from the blue side with Fudge on the Jace, Blubber playing the Nidalee, M&S the Cassante, Berserker on the Varus, and Swan, he's playing the Heimerdinger. The Guardians looking to extend this to Silver Scrapes, and a Game 5, they are playing with Licorice again on the Poppy. River, he's now playing the Maokai, Gori the Yasuo, Stixie the Zeri again, and Hui on the Archon. Almost 4 minutes into the game, we see River there getting chased away by Blabber under his turret. And this will leave Gori isolated. And against the Brawler and the Angry Cougar, there's nothing that the Swordsman could do to survive. And we open to the bot lane where it's Berserker and Sven under the turrets with the minions, and both junglers getting into a fight, joined by Stixie and Hui, but the Raka gets slain. And a River desperately trying to trade one back. Blabber, he's low, but he will survive. Cloud9, they collect 2 kills, and now they're going for Stixie to make it a third one. And about a minute later, it's a nice flash out there from Berserker. The Chain of Corruption will stun Hui, and the Rain of Arrows finally taking him down. And so it's a 5-0 lead for Cloud9 in terms of kill. They take the first Herald, and now we see River there getting stunned by the lob granite of the Heimerdinger. Falls to be the 6th kill for the LCS first seed, but now we're in the mid lane. With Hui, Gori and River beating up the Cassante of M&S. He gets ignited as well, but as he finally falls, it's Blabber taking the dragon for Cloud9. And now they're going for Sven on the Heimerdinger. The Nidalee spear gets dodged, but Berserker joins the scene and its rain of arrows will find its mark, but Stixie, he will have a say in this. Activates his lightning crash as Sven is taken down, but Blabber, he's able to trade the Maokai back. And also Berserker with the power-piercing arrow takes out Stixie. And on the top side screen we see Hui setting up a trap on the Rakon for Blabber, who misses his Q, and now it's a grand entrance. He goes immediately into the stopwatch and lets the Swordmaster do all the follow-up damage to take out the jungler. The first turret falls after 12 minutes, and half a minute later we are into the mid lane, where we see Shelly and Licorice with the engage on M&S, who gets stunned by the Maokai and Archer's grasp. Now it's Berserker hitting 3 members with his piercing arrow. The Chains of Corruption on Hui, he will fall, Gori will follow, and it's another 2 kills for Cloud9. And they will take the outer turret in the mid lane as well, to take a commanding lead of 8,000 gold already. It is just a dominant game by the LCS first seed, and they have not enough. They take the next Herald, the next Dragon, and we see Shelly summoned there in the top lane. After almost 17 minutes, the outer turret there falls as well. And the Guardians have to do something, as we see Hui there trying to make things happen for his team with the grand entrance. He knocks up and ignites Fudge, the rest of his team follows, and together they take out the top laner. And just half a minute later, it's Cloud9 again taking sole point in this game. It will be up into the top side jungle, where it's M&S going in on Gori. Now he sees 3 members of the Guardians against him. He gets knocked up, smashed into the wall by Licorice, but he now has to suffer the Heimerdinger granite, the Chains of Corruption of the Varus, and eventually the charge Q of M&S pulls him into the misery, and we now look at the Baronesha. Cloud9 is all over it, but River, he sends in the Maokai ult, flashes in, and he steals the objective. He has to pay for it with his life, but he gets the mighty Baron buff. But look at this, Cloud9. They will now take Dragon Soul, and by the hands of Berserker and M&S, they will tear down the inner turret in the bot lane as well. Licorice answering back with the outer one in the top lane. And so they collect the bounty for it, just as they will collect the bounty for the outer turret in the bot lane. And now we have the action taking place in 2 lanes simultaneously. In the top lane it's Fudge, about to take down the inner turret. He's against the Poppy, dodges the Q. The heroic charge will hit him, but it's Berserker also in the vicinity. Licorice in 1v2, he misses to keep his verdict. And so it's a doomed Poppy, and we look back into the bot lane where it's Blabber coming out of the Zonyas, just to be shut down by the Maokai of River. And just half a minute later we see M&S taking Gori there over the walls into the grey screen with us all out. And it's Baronesha again, and this one is going to Cloud9 without any contest. M&S rooted by the Maokai ult, and grave danger there, he's getting low. He goes in, but Berserker with the rotation, he takes takes out the support on Blabber. He comes out of the stasis to take out Gory. Sticks on the Zeri. He takes out Fudge, and MSI has fallen seconds early on Blabber. He's the third member of Cloud9 that goes down, and so it's only Berserker and Sven with the Baron buff. Cloud9 there will also lose their altitude in the middle, and we look at the Baron buff where it's the Keeper's Verdict. That sends away MNS, but nonetheless it's Cloud9 securing the Elder Dragon. This could be the game-deciding buff, as River is already fallen, and now Cloud9, they are chasing down the Guardians with the Dragon Soul, with the Elder buff. And look at this raging Hyuga there going by the name Blabber. He collects a triple kill, and so only Gory, he survived the onslaught, as we see Cloud9 there going to end this series right here, right now. And they're already at the Nexus turret as they slay the last remaining member of the Guardians for good. They send home the LCS second seed and proceed to the next elimination game. And so they keep alive all their hopes and dreams to eventually put their hands around the MSI Trophy 2023 here in London.
Lost in space, superhero vibes, yo. Put your hands up if you wanna go. Close your eyes.